Well, hello everyone. It is very nice to see you this day. Thanks for joining us here on Chester Television. I would like to start this session by saying hello. I thought I'd do a quick video. I've been thinking a lot today about doing a video. There's a lot of shit I'd like to talk about, but mostly I'd like to start this video off by saying I apologize. Last couple videos I was getting a little frantic with things, big topics. Bringing up big topics, and I think the most important thing that is the challenge is that I just am all over the place with the shit I say, very ranty, and I apologize, but at the same time I'm happy that I'm ranty because that's just what the world needs, a little rant from time to time, you know. So this video, I'm trying to keep the topic a little bit more in line, a little bit more kind of on the even keel, straight and narrow, if you will. Not to say that it's going to be boring, but this topic this time I'd like to talk about the allegory of the cave, Plato's cave, and also drugs. Hooray. The thing, I got talking about this with my workmates at work. The allegory of the cave is a pretty intense topic. Most philosophers, or at least people kind of slightly familiar with philosophy, are familiar with the allegory of the cave, Plato's cave. It's a reference to society in general. So, the very famous movie, The Matrix, was based on that allegory. So, how it works is everybody's born into this cave. And we're all sitting there, chained up against the wall. Our heads are chained up, we can't move. Our arms and limbs can't move at all. So all we know is the shadows on this wall that we're looking at. Like in front of us, there's this wall, and there's shadows being cast by a fire behind us that we can't see. And so these shadows are all we know, and all we think reality is. Most people don't even challenge the shadows. They think it's truth. We're sitting there, chained up. We're not aware of the fire. We're not aware of the people casting said shadows. And the people who keep the fire lit, keep us chained up, and are casting the shadows up on the wall are teachers, social figures of importance, doctors, politicians, the government, preachers of all sorts. And so the media, huge one today. So back in the day, Plato, there wasn't, media in the same way that there is today. This is way before BC. This is like before the birth of Christ, or if that's what you want to call AD or whatever BC. But, this is way before all that shit even happened. And he knew it then. He knew society was fucked. He knew it's just a bunch of people who want to control, right? It's just a bunch of people in the high chair who are like, oh hey, like listen to me, so to speak. Listen to my words and listen to what I have to say, and my ideas are law, and yada yada yada. But the idea is none of that's true. That's all fake, and it's all illusions. And say one of us who was chained up started to break free from our shackles. We broke free and we were able to move our head around and see things for what they really are. See our friends and family chained up, moving our arms and our bodies for the first time, and it's painful. We say we look at the fire for the first time. It's painful on our eyes. We can't see. We're like, what the hell is this light? It's crazy. So it's a very painful experience to basically challenge society, challenge the status quo, if you will, and go against the grain of what everybody's doing. And so that is described in the movie The Matrix. When he's broken free from the Matrix, Morpheus gave him the red pill, and he's like, oh fuck, he's like a little baby, and he's all bald and stuff, and he's like, ugh. He's like, why do I hurt so much? Why do my eyes hurt? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, because you've never used them before. You've never even used your eyes, your body, or more importantly, your mind before. You've never challenged, you've never stepped out on your own and challenged this and used your mind as your own mind instead of just believing what everybody else tells you. You never thought for yourself. And then once you begin to think for yourself, it's painful, but more importantly, it's very challenging. People challenge you all the time, and that's the agents. All these people who believe in society, who believe in everything they've been taught in school and all that shit, will look at you and be like, you're fucking crazy. If you believe in this shit, you believe in that shit, you're a maniac. The earth is flat, don't you know? Don't you know the earth is flat? Everybody knows the earth is flat. We've been taught it in school. So the idea is you start to break free. You start to see the light for what it really is, the fire. And then it's a painful experience. But say you decide to go forth and chase the truth and look deeper for what's really real. And so you break free from shackles, you go through this cave, you escape the clutches of those people controlling society, and then you clamber your way out of this cave, and you're getting all bruised up, barely use your muscles ever. You're clambering through this dark cave, and you know there's truth. You're like, I gotta find this truth. And then you make it out. You make it out of this cave alive. And you're like, oh shit, I made it out. You see the sun for the first time. The sun is brilliant, it's beautiful, but it's blinding and painful, and it burns your skin, living in this cave your whole life. And it's like, whoa, like this is some powerful shit. This is true. This is the true. It's like, oh my God. So then, say you've made it that far without giving up. Most people give up. Most of the weak of heart and mind give up. And it's like, oh shit. Or even worse, they get halfway out and they just hide in the cave, and they're like, this is the true, and they're clinging to some conspiracy theory or some religion or some half-truth, and they're not strong enough to find the real true truth, the deep truth. And so, say you make it out alive, you find enlightenment. Then what do? You're out of the cave, you're enlightened, but you're alone. You don't have your friends or your family. They're still chained up in the cave. What do you do then? Do you decide to stay there in enlightening bliss alone? Or do you decide to go back into the cave and try and free them at the risk of being found by society and killed, or even worse, chained back up? So, this is, the very first movie is the most of the Matrix trilogy is based on the Plato's Cave. But all of the movies do have hidden wisdoms in there. But I wanted to, in this discussion about Plato's Cave, I wanted to bring up drugs. Because in essence, many drugs, I'm not going to say all of them, because I'm not an advocate for the drugs. I'm not a big drugger, personally. I've enjoyed drugs, time to time, not going to lie. Personally, I don't like the harder stuff. Don't like cocaine. Don't like Molly. Shit's fucked. I don't like, any hard shit. Fuck crack, fuck meth, fuck speed, fuck all that shit. Fuck yourself. Fuck that shit. That shit's fucked. Marijuana, sure. Enjoy yourself. Do what you want. I don't like it anymore. I used to be a huge drugger with marijuana, but it's not for me. And for me, it's like it's a medicine. It's got its benefits and stuff, but I personally don't think that smoking every day, all day, is really that beneficial, because I've done it and I know it's not very beneficial to my life. But who am I to judge anybody who does it? But it's to me, it's more medicine. But what I want to bring up in reference to Plato's Cave is shit like mushrooms, psychedelics, acid, ayahuasca. That stuff is like breaking your chains. You're in the cave, and that's the type of stuff that gives you a bolt cutter. You're sitting in the cave and you try this new experience, and it just completely opens your mind up to the possibility that everything you've been believing in is potentially wrong. And I'm not going to say it's the cure-all, save-all, because you can do this without doing drugs. But I'm merely suggesting that that's one of the biggest reasons why this type of stuff is illegal, is because it challenges, it allows you to more easily challenge the programs. It allows you to reprogram your brain very easily. Neuroplasticity is like hugely increased. Well, at least potentially. Some people don't know how to maneuver their mind when they're on this stuff, and that's the problem with today. The new age, like the rebellion, all the new age rappers and shit like that, like Flatbush Zombies, fucking Absol, the Underachievers, Joey Badass. Don't get me wrong, I love these guys, great rappers. They're very big influence on my rap career. I'm a rapper, by the way. I spit that hot fire. But back to my original point, you need to know what you're doing. You're taking this shit, you need to fucking know what it is you're fucking doing. You have to have good intentions, and you have to kind of go into it with like a mature mind, because that stuff can be dangerous. It can open you up to some sketchy shit. And I don't just mean like thieves on the street will rob you while you're high. I mean like fucking demons, dark entities, and fucking some bad fucked up woojie woo. Some shit that'll mess with your mind on that shit. So, and I know from experience, but I'm pretty I'd like to say I'm a pretty stable person. So I haven't really experienced the crazy bad shit. I know people who have, but like shit like any drug will fuck you up and bring about this, open you up to like dark shit. Somebody at my door? Yeah. I'm kind of busy right now. I'm doing a podcast. Okay. What? Anyways, yeah, fucking bring about psychosis and stuff like that. Like, I don't really know what it's like to be possessed, but I've heard about and seen too much stuff to completely write it off. Like I personally, I'm kind of like skeptical about the whole possession thing, but like the very least, one definition of what a demon is your brain develops a habit pattern that is negative. Your brain will develop it will have a desire or some sort of pattern, a neurosis of sorts, where it's like, oh, I need this, I want this, and I need it. It brings me happiness, yada yada yada. When it's actually, in actuality, it's harmful for your body, or it creates you unstable mentally, or it draws energy from you, and draws you away from what you could be doing that's beneficial. It is a distraction. So any demon, described by Aleister Crowley, actually, a very famous mysticist or occultist, some people call him a wicked man. I would say that that's, for the most part, an inaccurate description of him, but he's kind of got a lot of crazy shit going for him. Anyways, he called a demon, he said, a demon is an empty husk of energy that has no soul. It's an empty husk of energy, like an eddy or something that needs to be fueled with gravity and energy and torque in you. It's latched onto your soul, or your energy, or your mind, or whatever you want to call it. It's an empty, soulless thing that you feed. You've created it, and you feed it with your mental input. So if this was an addiction to alcohol, say, pretty simple, it's an empty husk, and it's telling you, oh, I want a drink. Oh, I'd be better with a drink right now. It's giving you these concepts, but it's your mind that has developed this empty husk, this eddy. You've built it, and it needs to be sustained by you, but you're the one who's feeding it. And so that's one concept of a demon. There are other concepts in Christian and Muslim faiths about, like, fucking these things that are, created by God, or like they're like angels, fallen angels, or whatever. I don't know how to describe them, but it's like they're assigned, like everybody's assigned a good jinn and a bad jinn, and they're like recording your life and trying to whisper in your ear and all this shit, and people can like create jinn, or at least not create them, but like assign a jinn to you to fuck with you, and try and basically command a jinn to, like, they're called seers, like witch doctors, black magic type shit, and they'll summon a demon to attack or fuck with somebody. And so that type of stuff I don't know about, but I've seen some fucked up shit, and I've heard of a lot of fucked up shit going on, and it's like, you never know, right? Like, that's the type of stuff, like, when I was starting to get into the concepts of astral projection and deeper spiritual stuff myself, one of my good friends who was on that same path was saying, like, before you try to even attempt to astral project, you have to protect yourself. You've got to create all these barriers, these psychic things. These, like, you have to do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram to protect your soul. You gotta fucking do all these magical rituals to basically protect your soul and get some armor on that body of yours. But the other thing is like, I've heard that's all just in your mind. That's just you reinforcing yourself through placebo effect to say, oh, I'm fine, I'm perfectly fine, I'm safe. So there's another thing to that's like, the idea in your head that you have to do this is also kind of reinforcing the idea in your head that you're vulnerable. So I've heard it described that if you're going to go into the astral plane, that you fuck having to do a ritual, you're already powerful enough. If you're powerful enough to go into the astral plane, your soul is an immortal thing. Your body's just mortal, and you're just gonna float in into the astral plane with power. You already got all the power you need, and it's your own fear that's going to give you weakness. So the idea that you need to have a protection thing is going to give you that fear. If you go in and you're like, I don't fucking need protection, I'm already a fucking god floating through the heavens, who gives a fuck about that shit? Be gone, bitches. You fucking cast that shit away. I believe in that shit. I fucking fuck anything that tries to come at me, bro. But on another note, it's kind of been going off on a little tangent about that stuff. But really, when it comes down to it, drugs they can be dangerous. I recommend, if you're gonna dabble, to kind of get to know your own self, get to know your power, have faith in yourself, have faith in your abilities to face kind of darker stuff head on and be like, no, because when you're afraid deep down in your heart, and you believe yourself to be vulnerable, that's when you're vulnerable. And so I've been through some fucked up scary shit on mushrooms, but I wasn't afraid. At one point, I was in the woods. Me and my friends took a bunch of mushrooms. I took more than everybody else. I was like down for the journey. Went completely bonkers, and was speaking in tongues, was talking to myself the whole time. I thought I was feeling the power. I was like, I've got so much power. I'm fucking Jesus right now. I was like, oh, I've got the magic. And then I was like, I've got too much magic. I'm out in nature. Nature needs my magic. I want to sacrifice. I want to give this magic to nature. I was kind of like, I'm down to sacrifice myself to nature to give nature all this power. And that being said, like, that's just thinking about it now. I'm not trying to say I'm king shit or anything, but that's a pretty noble thing. Like, I don't know, it seems pretty noble to me. But not that I was going in to be like, yeah, I want to be a noble guy, but like, I don't know, I just want to help nature out. And then I was like, oh, everybody's gonna fucking kill, these people are gonna kill me, I'm gonna be sacrificed. I thought my friends were gonna kill me at some point, and then I was asking them to kill me at another point. I was like, this is a good place. I was like, yeah, I just want to decompose right here, it's fine, just kill me. And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about, Jester? You fucked. And then they were trying to help me out, but like, that's kind of what I mean, is like, potentially a lot of fucked up shit can go through your mind. So it's good to like know what's going on. It's good to know where you're at. But my point is I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to die. So I don't know. I guess I can't say much about that specifically. But like, the original point was that the drugs can help you escape from the cave, and that's true. You can feel a lot of things that you potentially will never feel before without that stuff if you are unaware. Like, people who get into this stuff without the drugs, who are able to like, I would say that meditation is good and key to feel this type of stuff. What I'm talking about is feeling the woo-ji-woo, feeling the spiritual vibes, feeling the energy, getting intuition, feeling a connection with nature. That's the real secrets that society doesn't teach. But there's more, I can't get into it this time, but one time I'd like to bring up, at least once, my most metaphysical experience in my life. So I'm out in the woods at this cabin that me and my friend built. in the woods. This little hut we built. We called it Camp Chia. It was a baller spot. Where we took some mushrooms during the day. We're sitting out there having a blast. And my friend, he's chatting with his other friend. His other friend came to buy some weed off of him. And so they're chatting. Came out all the way out to the woods just to find him and buy weed off of him. So I'm in my own little world. I'm just chilling there with nature. It's a beautiful time. Sitting up in this chair, looking up at the trees and hearing the birds and seeing the sunshine through the trees and everything swaying. It's so beautiful. I'm feeling this web of connection in nature. I'm like, this web is gorgeous. I'm witnessing the web of life, the web of all nature. All living things are connected. I'm sitting there, just jacked on mushrooms, and I'm like, this is fucking gorgeous. And then I think to myself to address this web. I address the web of life, essentially. And I look up at the trees, and I am addressing the web, and I'm like, this is gorgeous. Am I a part of this web? I say in my mind, I'm like, am I a part of this? And as I say that, this leaf starts circling down out of the trees. It wasn't fall. These leaves weren't falling. This leaf, single leaf, starts circling down above my head. And it was... I just held out my hand. And I held my breath. And it lands right into my palm. And I grab it. And I'm like, yes! I am. I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this nature web. And so that, for me, that was the most experience. That was the most metaphysical, life-changing. Well, it wasn't really life-changing because I was already into that stuff. But that was the most, like, metaphysical, kind of like magic, like, life-affirming kind of moment that I can remember. That was like, yes, you're on the right track, Chester. You are aware of the nature web, and you are a part of the nature web. Keep fighting for the nature web. That was a message I got. And so, that, for me, that was a step out of the cave. That was like, yeah, it was fucking gorgeous. I'm going to wrap this video up, but really, I'm just kind of, I'm talking about life's journey in essence, but like, drugs can be great. Personally, psychedelics are the only real thing. Like, marijuana, I feel like it has helped me, and from time to time, it's brought me creativity, brought me freedom of thought, allowed me to step outside of the box with this thinker of mine. Nothing in comparison to psychedelics, but weeds also held me back a lot. Psychedelics, I feel, if done improperly and done recklessly, can be dangerous. But for me, I feel like I've learned a lot from doing them. Even if I couldn't put those things into words, it was usually of a learning experience when I did them. And so, with that, I want to say that, like, the new age these people that are like, yeah, do some drugs and open up your third eye. Yeah, that shit'll wake you up, getting woke as fuck with this batch of acid. Fucking that shit'll get you woke, son. It's like, great, like, do what you will. If you feel that that's right for you, great. But don't listen, don't do it just because people are telling you. Figure it out for yourself, you know? Like, it's dangerous, potentially. If you've got your unstable, if you're depressed all the time, you're anxious all the time, you do this shit, it might make you do some fucked up shit. And I don't want to say don't do it because you're depressed. I want to say just be aware. Say a prayer first. Do a little meditation first. Put some good energy in your body. Do it with like intentions. Like sit there and burn some sage. Maybe have like a fucking good music playing. Something that will like put you in some good vibes. And like a lot of people will talk shit about the good vibes, the good woo-woo and shit like that, and say, oh, that's bullshit. But if you're on acid or on shrooms, and you're listening to death metal, and this is the first time you've done them, and you're around people who are like, knives everywhere or something, like if you're on mushrooms and you've got knives everywhere, that'll trip you out. That'll fucking give you some bad woo-woo. If you're fucking around like a bunch of people on crack cocaine or on fucking snorting lines and they're like, yeah, give me another hit, man. Yeah, I'm good. I want that, yeah. If you're around that kind of weird leechy energy, that kind of weird like sick grungy energy where people are like, yeah, the government's fucked, man. We gotta fight, we gotta fucking drop some bombs on the White House. Yeah, that's not the best, you know? That's gonna give you some weird vibes in your tripping out mind, in your heart. It's just bad energy. You know, it's fucked. So, you know, like, I'm open to have this talk with anybody. Like, I'm fucking down for whatever, but, like, and I don't want to judge anybody. Fucking do what you want. Do what you will. But, like, this is my take on it. This is my opinion. And all this shit, all these videos, it's just my opinion. You know, don't fucking judge the world. Don't make assumptions based on what I say. But, like, this is just my experience, you know? Like, I hope that some people can gain a little bit from what I say, but you know, I'm not claiming to be some wise man. I'm not claiming to. I mean, personally, I think I've got a lot of shit figured out. I've been on this road for a long time, doing the great work, if that's what you want to call it, trying to figure out this confusing world we live in. I've been on it for years, decades, even maybe 1 decade. I'm not that old. But to be honest, it's a pretty crazy cave we live in right now. It's a fucked up cave. And if you can't see the cave, or at least aren't even willing to consider the cave, you're probably fucking shackled as fuck. Probably shackled all to hell. And it's like, get woke, son. Get fucking woke. And I don't like those terms. Like, it's been trivialized. It's all the new age people, get woke, son. Get woke as fuck, son. Wake up. Get that consciousness, son. And it's like, consciousness only means you're aware. Your awareness is up. You're conscious of what's going on. So, people are saying, oh yeah, I'm so woke. Are you really? You gotta fucking ask that question. I ask myself if I'm lying to myself all the time. You gotta do it. With that, I'm gonna say, love is law, love under will. Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. Peace.